Grandpa Dennis is turning.
I'm alright, 'cause I'm okay. Doesn't matter if my beard is gray. Just listen, I have something to say.
Grandpa Dennis is turning.
I'm alright, 'cause I'm okay. And this old goat has something to say. So just keep learning, for Grandpa Dennis is turning. My name is Dennis Pravensky, and welcome to Grandpa Dennis's Woodturning Studio. Today is the third of a three-part series on hollowing. The first part was about a capture system that I developed and had made for me. The second one was about the steady rest that's needed in most of the hollow turning. And this video is all about an articulated arm. This is a tool that I had designed and had a machine shop make for me. Today's video goes through the steps in making one of these and how to use them. I hope you enjoy it. Let's get going. Now this is the third system for hollowing. It's called an articulated arm. And you can see that all the pieces move. This is 2-inch square solid bar. If I did it again, I would not use that because it's much too heavy for me. I've had to weld a nut on here and make a handle so that I could lift it properly. Here's basically how I made this. I had a machine shop cut these bars to this length. They then grooved them out in here and in there deep enough so that this 1-inch bolt is countersunk on both sides. This is just a long bolt with the threads cut off at the bottom. That's 1 inch and it fits into my banjo. That's a collar with a set screw, and that adjusts the height and locks it in place. Underneath this piece and this part, there's a thrust bearing on both sides, and that allows for easy movement. These grooves got drilled out to accommodate a 1-inch bolt. The bolt comes through from the bottom and the nut tightens here. On here and here and the bottom, there's thrust bearings, and that allows for that easy movement. And the same at this joint. This one is completely flat. On the surface, I welded a 1¼ inch seamless tube, and again, the opening, the inside diameter fits perfectly for a 3/4 inch steel rod that is with my cutting tip at the end. Because it can go right through, I can adjust this quite easily. In fact, I can take an extra long one put it through right to the very end, and I can use that as a handle. I'm going to take the clamp off and put it on a banjo so you can see how it moves. I've clamped the banjo down onto my bench here. And this is just to show you how easily this thing can rotate and move. Now, if this were the bowl, I'd be able to get in all the way to the back of it, and I can maneuver this so that I can grab the shoulder of the bowl in here. That's always a difficult place to do your cutting. So because of the thrust bearings, this has a lot of flexibility in it to be able to move, and it moves quite easily. In fact, you can see it's going by itself with gravity. This apparatus is a bit strange, but it's the one-way system for holding the laser pointer. So this comes with the laser pointer when you get it from one way. And again, at the top is a flat piece with another piece of steel, and the laser pointer slides into there and is clamped down. This system on the bottom is what One Way uses to hold it on to their cutting tools. It's similar to the concept that I made with the wood block. But I didn't want to put it onto this shaft because the rod's going in and out of it. So I made another shaft on the top and welded and bolted it on. Again, this piece has to be completely perpendicular to the shaft. And you can move this rod and towards me so that it becomes absolutely perpendicular to this shaft. To make it, again, perpendicular this way, on this end, the pipe holding this piece is welded at a right angle and onto here. At this end, I've got a bolt going through to the 1 1/4 inch seamless tubing. It's got nuts on it that I can adjust so I can put pressure on this shaft so I can tilt it up and down slightly so that this piece can become perpendicular. It's got to be perpendicular in order for the laser pointer to run perpendicular to here. And if you're out on those by a significant amount, you'll be out, won't be able to do a good job on your laser pointer coming to the tip. I did a video on turning an urn, and I used this tool, and there's a little bit more detail, and you can see how it operates when I use that. I did have some difficulty with it. I managed to get the urn done completely, but this end had a lot of vibration in it, and as a result, I made the 1-inch bar, and we'll use the capture system on the 2 urns that I'm going to be doing shortly. The advantage to the articulated arm is the flexibility is quite amazing. You can come into the opening from this angle, swing around, do some hollowing. If that's not the right angle, could move this to the other side and do the same. You could come in from this angle this way as well. And the depth can be whatever you've got your boring bar at. Although I have found that if you go much more than 6 inches over your tool rest, you've got a lot of vibration, even with a 3/4 inch bar. The cutting tip is bolted onto the tip of the boring bar. For my lathe, it's exactly 13 inches to the bed of the lathe, and that gives me direct center. In my video on the capture system, I go into great detail on the laser system and how the laser pointer works. I suggest you take a look at that. I find that this articulated arm is an easy-to-use system. Call it user-friendly. They're quite quick to set up and quite accurate. For smaller projects, I think it's ideal. Steady rest is always a good idea with all of the hollowing systems and the coring systems as well. I'd be interested to find out if anyone else out there has built their own articulated arms, and let me know what that's all about. Put it in the comments or get a hold of me by email at grandpadennis9@gmail.com. It's grandpadennis9@gmail.com. There are a lot of companies that make these articulated arms, and it's worth researching. I'm sure there's a lot of different ways and different methods of making them. This is the one I chose. Unfortunately, I use 2-inch square solid steel, and that is extremely heavy. I had to put a special handle on it to carry it around. Now, the weight is a nice thing to have with these because it does cut down on the vibration a fair amount, but you have to be in shape to be able to put it on and off your lathe. This system was a little pricey for me to get made by the machine shop. It was in the neighborhood of $200 plus for them to do the milling. But the milling is important. It has to be quite accurate, especially the holes for the 1-inch bolts. They've got to be right on the mark to prevent a lot of play in the joints. As you tighten down the nut and the bolt, you tighten the joint. If you tighten it too much, it doesn't move nice and freely. If you loosen it too much, it has a lot of play in it, and you want to get rid of most of the play. My system requires a second banjo. The first one is to hold the tool rest, to hold your boring bar, and the second one is to hold the entire articulated arm. You can get away by making your own system of holding it, and that's quite easy to do, but it requires some heavy steel and a little bit of welding. Again, one of the issues is you can get seamless tubing that fits exactly a 3/4 inch diameter post. You can also get seamless tubing that fits exactly a 1-inch post. So those are good factors to realize and to use in your manufacturing if you're going to make them. I hope you found this series and this particular video helpful and informative. If you really enjoyed it and you want to see more videos from me, please subscribe. And when you do, hit the bell, which allows you to get a notification when my next video comes out. Most of the videos I've done are about turning projects. This 3-part series on hollowing was a little bit different. There's no project in there unless you want to call making a capture system, making a steady rest, and making the articulated arm a project. I suppose it was. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this, and I'd like to see any comments you have on this whole project, whether or not you enjoyed it, and if you think that there was a better way of explaining or displaying it. Until the next time, keep on turning.
Grandpa Dennis is turning.
I'm alright, 'cause I'm okay. Doesn't matter if my beard is gray. Just listen, I have something to say.
Grandpa Dennis is turning.
I'm alright, 'cause I'm okay. And this old goat has something to say. So just keep learning from Grandpa Dennis's turning.